Korea, spoke with China, spoke, you know, this is the network. Once you allow that level playing ground, then you give them opportunity. Now, there's a woman called Leluke in Lagos. She produced bags with Adire, with Kampala. She has so many orders now because of that expo. So the secret is the people are localized. We need to bring them out, help them to sell their product, get more foreign earning into Nigeria, and then our currency will even stabilize.
Many times people say why they're not very keen on locally produced goods. It's basically because of standards and they think, well, quality and things like that. Now, in promoting the culture, especially when you have programs like the Waste to Wealth you talked about, the arts and crafts empowerment programs, how do you encourage the improvement in standards of these products so that they can attract markets, and not just local markets, international markets? Because it's always seen, and I tell you, some people have the idea that anything that has to do with culture or is local is fetish.
Well, I've been able to change that narrative. With due respect, we had a program and one masquerade appeared. And they said, I'm selling this masquerade to the international public during one of the Abuja carnival. Yes. And the next thing I heard is the masquerade will require some form of blood to be spread around for it to. I said, no, please take that masquerade back. I don't need it. That is where the fetishness come in. That has stopped now.
Okay.
I personally get involved and see the content of what we are showcasing to the world. That person is no more speaking for his local government, he's speaking for the whole country. So it is important for we, some of the practitioners, to always check what is brought out to be sold out to people. I had an experience in South Africa. We went to the Lion Park, and they said that there's a truck that will take us, and we're safe with the lion. And I said to them, where I come from, our culture is you have to avoid the lion. And even the Igbos have it. The Igbos said, even if a lion is dead, don't go near it. It may choose to come back again. The story will be different. So, where am I coming to? A lot of times, we allow people to speak for us and sell the negative things out. That is no more. I stand my firm ground, and I said, we're now registering all festivals across the country.
Okay.
There must be a window.
So some of these, what you're saying is a second look at the content. There are certain things which must be changed in the content of some of these festivals so that they all don't seem as if they have to do mainly with a religious, a local religion, or divination, or such things that will put off others. You're looking at that content, and yet it doesn't change anything about the way the people are.
Thank you for that question. I must tell you today, there is a festival in Kogi State where young girls will come out. That was an old stuff where they will come out, young girls, where they find husbands or so. When they come out, all their body is open.
Yeah.
Now, that is not truly our culture. And I said to them, please, you can still have your festival, but let decency take place. Okay. Today, the story have changed. They respected my view, and they've taken it, and now they have a very powerful cultural event going on there. All we need to do is to guide and help every part of the country.
Now let's talk about collaborative efforts here and cutting across sectors, not necessarily with states, local governments, but with other bodies that may have to do with culture, art, tourism. You used to be at the NTDC, the Tourism Development Corporation, and you have such bodies. How do you relate with them? And incidentally, too, you were also at one point in time at the National Theatre as well. So, how are you getting on with these bodies today?
You see, let me help to clear a very strong point. Tourism has two major jobs: to promote and market when the content has been developed.
Right.
Simple. Now, 80% of what makes this sector is private sector driven.
Right.
Private sector. Now, the idea is for government to create enabling environment so the private sector can engage more people and reduce the issue of unemployment. But for a very long time, we got it wrong. Most times, the government agencies is competing with the private sector, which is the disconnection. But if you ask them now, I have been able to change that narratives. That's why I went to the Bank of Industry to secure a 300 million naira support to the sector. The Bank of Industry is not a Father Christmas. There must be a proper documentation. There must be a process for you to qualify to get this fund, which I'm totally in support.
What will this fund, where will this fund go to? What will it help to do?
Fine. The fund will remain with Bank of Industry.
Right.
Ours is to recommend some of the credible practitioners that can pay back.
All right.
Now, before now, a lot of them collect this money and didn't take it seriously. You know, you have Bank of Industry, you have Bank of Agric, you have Bank of... Believe me, this sector needs its own financial base.
Right.
And it will make a difference. So partnership, we're very...
So, for instance, let's say someone who is in arts and culture and crafts and whatever needs a financial base. They can approach the bank based on this arrangement to secure some funds to further their businesses. What's been the response like?
Well, you see...
They're still working out the details of...
Yeah. You see, the response is because a lot of them didn't pay back. That was before I got to office.
Right.
They get some of these funds, they didn't pay back. And you know, bankers are very sensitive. Once you don't keep to the agreement, they become very suspicious that this is not a good business person. And in the sector, if you have 50 people that got these facilities, only 5 is returning. It's not good. So that's why we are introducing under my office e-marketing strategy.
Right.
The ordinary woman who does bag now, we have exposed them how they can put it on WhatsApp. Look, you can make a sales of 10 million today without moving out of your bedroom. That's another area we need to look at.
Technology.
Technology.
So you're applying technology to arts and culture.
Exactly. So we're even opening a new base that if you have a new product, just send it to our window. We help you advertise it. We are not interested in making anything. Our interest is to empower the ordinary Nigerian.
What is the, you spoke about private sector driven activity. What is the response regarding private sector involvement in arts and culture?
You see, let me say something. Most of the people that get involved in this sector are the tourists. They buy a lot. If you recollect, in 1972, when there was a bomb blast in London, the British government quickly invested so much money to clear that bad impression because they know what they will lose. Today, do you know from Friday to Sunday, in Lagos State alone, photographs being taken is going to the tune of close to between 7 and 8 million naira. A burial ceremony, wedding, naming, just name them. Activities are going on. Now, somebody quickly think outside the box and introduce a small printer. So as you're sitting down, he's printing the picture, he's giving it to you. Right. Now, you have an evidence. Let me also leak a secret to you today. If you're a real Lagos person, when you get to an event and the person is not even sure you were there, he will organize with the photographer, he will go near the celebrant and take a quick photograph. So after some few months, when you get there and he said, you didn't come to my, I said, look at it, I was there. So somebody is making money. It's part of this sector. Are you getting my point? Now we have left a very big window. Why? The return from those photographs is not good enough because our people have not been able to get the right equipment. NCAC is now opening that window again. We're now bringing some of them and tell them, this is what you need to do. You don't need to buy X type of paper. Why don't you buy this paper? It gives you more copies. This is how you help the people. So that's just one segment. Another segment is you heard of the popular Ashwebi, when you wear the same dress. We're not saying don't wear the same dress, but please wear local fabric. When you go and buy a lace of 200,000, you're not helping the economy. But buy tie and dye, 5,000 naira, you're not touching the ordinary Nigeria. Also cereal. Do you know that some parents will tell you with pride, you know, my daughter goes to that school where the school uniform is being sold in London. We've got it wrong. The time is now. We must encourage our own, get our own people to key into the economic strategy of our country.
What is the strategy of the National Council for Arts and Culture in terms of helping to broaden the base of Nigeria's economy as you go into the future? What are the strategies you have in place? What are those that you have started implementing, and the ones you're looking to in the future?
Well, first and foremost, we've given NAFES a brand. 2, we've given INAC another brand. There's some returns now. Our last outing, we had people coming in, Bangladesh, India, and China, brought their cultural group from their countries to Nigeria. They're going to stay in the hotel here. They're going to eat Nigerian food. The vehicle they're using is going to use fuel. We need to understand the economic returns. Maybe that brings me to tell you today that for us to make proper impact, we must have our own national airline. Do you know, if you are traveling to China today, if you go through Ethiopian Airline, you have to spend 3 hours in Addis Ababa. Addis Ababa does not take their own currency at the airport. They take only dollars. So we must be looking what can bring the foreign exchange to us. So these are some of the strategies we've been able to put in place.
The festivals all have a calendar now, do we?
Yeah, we do. Well, recently, and now I've compiled all the festivals. We're going to submit it to CAC. We're going to submit you see, we have to identify who are the promoters. That's another corruption that we've not addressed in this country. Somebody can send on the internet, is having a festival, and collect people's money and nothing happens. So we need to have the calendar, know who are the promoters in case there's any problem. You cannot organize any program in any country that is very serious to fight corruption without having a monitor to check what you are doing. So we're also introducing that.
Elections are around the corner in Nigeria, and they say it's all about the people and the way the people see themselves. And now, more than any other time, people are talking of the need for peaceful, orderly conduct of citizens. What role has culture got, arts and culture got, in pushing towards 2019 and ensuring that the country ends up as a peaceful and united nation, even where even where there might be political differences?
Well, only yesterday, my agency came up with building a culture of peace towards 2019 election.
Tell us about that.
We came out with this program knowing fully well that INEC cannot do it alone. It is time for every Nigerian to put its own contribution for Nigeria to be great. So we came up with that program. I must thank General IBM Aruna, who chaired the occasion. Actually, the director of news in NTA, Baba Barao, gave the keynote address there. We brought in youth, women, INEC, and the traditional institution. These are the fundamental stakeholders. And we discussed, and everybody agreed that all of us must come together and make sure peace reigns in our country. 2019, I pray and I telling you with all seriousness, it will be peaceful. God will guide us in this country. Because any other thing short of that will be sending a wrong signal to the whole world. 2-3 African countries held election recently and it was peaceful. So we have woken up the consciousness of our people to say peace must reign.
Well, what are the aspects of culture you're taking to promote or propagate this idea? What are you taking from the people? Yes, it's the same people who have been in this country all along. It's the same people who have been living together. But today, you find everyone is talking about their enclave first and foremost before they're talking about the nation. So what exactly are you going to take from what the people have to put forward and say, well, you may have, a different political idea from the next person, but still basically you remain citizens of the country?
Well, first and foremost, we should appreciate the fact that what brings us together is the unity that we must all respect. Culture, everybody has a culture, irrespective of where you come from. Yesterday, we've been able to remind every Nigerian that culture is what we need to have peace. Peace is priceless. And there's no country in the world that can get any meaningful development without having peace. So to us, we have brought out the content of building. That's the word we use. Building a culture of peace towards 2019 election. What does that mean? We should bury our differences, forget about what have been dividing us, and see our cultural content as a way of coming and peacefully bringing Nigerian to the forefront of a fantastic and a great election.
All right. It's been interesting talking to you, Otumba Olusegun Onusewe, Director General, National Council for Arts and Culture. And we did say at the beginning that you also have a diverse background, and throughout your sojourn, you've also touched in different parts. We talked about the media, we talked about even the cultural backgrounds. We've gone in the north, from the southwest. In fact, we didn't even have time to talk about the early days. Some might want to know, how did Olusegun Onusewe come about going into the media from a technical school background? At least I know you had a technical school background. That was where we first met, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So what happened along the line? You left technology and went to media, yeah. Right?
And today in culture.
And today culture.
Yeah.
Well,
Cyril, there's destiny in everything we do. We must always give thanks to God. Once your time has come for a purpose and a cause, you'll find yourself there. And when you rush to what is not your own, you are bound to have different things. So to me, destiny I respect. Where I am today, I believe, is the preparedness of God for me of where I should be.
all right. And it is on that note we'll have to thank you for coming on this program. We hope to ask you to come again some other time.
Thank you very much.
All right.
I wish you a Merry Christmas in advance.
You too. Right. And that's our program today. Thank you for watching. Next week we'll be back with One on One. I am Cyril Stover. Bye for now.